Okay, welcome back to the design series. I am going to walk us through just 2 pages, right, to show you just how simple the combat system is. I heard me, myself, and Di talk about his real test for a combat system is after he reads through it, he will place 2 figures on a featureless plane and just see how a melee or melee and missile combat plays out with just very simple 2 opponents. I'm going to do the same thing here, but first let's go to the rules. Sharing my screen now. So after you get past the move, counter move sequence, making an attack in general, this talks about what I basically said, right? Roll to hit, roll damage. Very straightforward. And then part of that damage roll is deciding whether or not full penetration of the armor has occurred. Therefore, it's a killing blow. Again, very similar to what we saw in the 73 playtest rules. And then finally, melee attacks. Generally, the player gets the first chop unless he is surprised, the opponent has the higher ground, or he's switching hands, or he's switching weapons in his hands, or he's attacked from behind. Without this advantage, you basically have to decide based on a dice roll who's going to go first. The idea of Dragons Beyond is that it fits seamlessly in with a mass combat system and the man-man system. As a matter of fact, you'll even notice that I have 9 segments. The idea is that there are 3 combat rounds per mass combat turn, and that heroic combat can actually be interleaved in there as well as fantastic combat. That's the overall design concept I've had. But let's keep this very straightforward and simple here. I think we're going to go the Spearman is full plate, but no shield. And then the swordsman is, well, he's got plate as well. It looks like he's got plate elements covered by chain. Let's make them both plate. And the helmets, we're not going to worry about the helmet rule right now. That comes later. But 2 guys, featureless plane. I've got a 1-inch playing field here. I really wish I could tilt this camera more. Also, recently scored some Hardmaster 2nd edition, so I can learn even more combat systems as if I don't have enough rattling around in my brain. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay, so back to our 2 combatants. We're going to start them out at opposite sides of the field. This guy is red and this guy is blue. So this guy rolls a 6. This guy blue rolls a 1. So in this case, this guy gets to choose whether to move or counter move. He chooses to go ahead and move. Since these guys are, we're going to say armored foot. If you look at the encumbrance rules, you can realize that plate mail pretty much limits you to 6 inches. Each of these squares is 1 inch. So he's going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy does have a spear. He could throw it, but that would probably be a very bad idea. It's now the 2nd movement segment. He has the opportunity to move. And again, in this system, there is no formations or really facing charge. No movement penalty for making facing changes or any nonsense like that, like you would see with a mass combat system. So he also can move 6. We're just going to go straight away into it. He moves up forward 3. And now there is no artillery, magic, or missile fire going on. So we're going to move straight to melee. In this case, the attacker is generally the one that, like if you look back to chainmail, there's no definition of who the attacker actually is. I've been playing chainmail that the person that moves into melee, moves into base combat is the attacker. Since both of these are non-real persons, non-NPCs, I don't have to deal with the player. Let's say that one of these guys was the player would go first. But since we're not dealing with peace, so beyond this point be dragons, the 73 playtest rules gave a significant, that is one significant advantage they gave to the players. Players almost always go first with those very narrow exceptions of being surprised, attacked from behind, attacking somebody on higher ground, or they're caught between 2 weapons and switching weapons out. So in this case, back to back to what we said. This person actually moved last, so he moved into base-to-base contact. I'm going to say he's the attacker, so he's going to get his chops first, the blue guy is. Since we're attacking armor class 2, the way the system works, we're going to say both of these are first level fighting men. A first level fighting man needs to hit armor class 2. He's going to need 18, right? 18 plus 2 equals 20. A first level fighting man needs the complement to bring the number up to 20. So on the descending scale, plate mail, well, actually this is plate mail without shield. So I'm going to scratch that. So these guys are both armor class 3. A first level fighting man needs a 17 or better to make contact with armor class 3. There are no dex bonuses and no strength bonuses in Dragons Beyond, nor in the playtest rules from 73. So he rolls a 1. No fumbles either, fortunately for that guy. Coming over here to red, he gets his counter chop. Red, it is a legit 19 that he rolled. So now, again, we're looking at the man-to-man table. We're looking down here. Pretty easy to tell. Plate armor without shield, AC 3. He is chopping with a sword. So if I cross-reference this, a sword needs a 10 to hit plate armor on 2d6. Unless this figure was prone. We're not talking about prone yet. So let's see what happens. He gets a 9, barely misses. So he's hit, but he has not fully penetrated the armor. Since this is a 6, we're going to get rid of that. We're just going to say he does 3 points of damage. Next question is how many hit points do these guys have? So first level fighting men have 1d6 plus 1 hit points. Could be adjusted for the health trait. I'm not going to roll up the health trait. Let's just see, does this guy have, how many hit points does he have? He has 5 hit points because I rolled a 4 and he has 1 more because he's a fighting man. So that guy has 5 hit points, minus 3. So he's down to 2 hit points. And we might as well roll this guy has hit points as well. He has 4 plus 1, so he has 5 hit points. So the red side has 5 hit points and the blue side has 2 hit points. That's it for melee. No morale checks. Next round, there is nothing to do during the admin segment. So we're back to deciding who wins the initiative roll, for lack of a better term. Red gets a 3, and this guy gets 3. Simultaneous. So potentially we could do simultaneous. I'm not going to do that. We're going to roll off here. We're going to figure this out. So 2. I love it. Sometimes the dice are telling me the story I ought to be playing. If it was my players, I would make them do simultaneous. Anyway, red rolls a 1, blue rolls a 5. Since they're already in base-to-base contact, and this guy is already designated as the attacker, and he won the initiative, there's no doubt he's going to take his chops first. So again, attacking against armor class 3, he needs a 17 because he's a first level fighting man. He rolls a 6, he fails. Counter blow from the other guy. Coming back now, gets a 16. Sorry, that's not good enough. 3, 4. Again, blue wins the initiative, chooses to go first, and is still, we're going to say he's still designated as the attacker in this group, pair, or grouping of combatants. He rolls a 4. The other guy rolls an 11, nothing. 5, blue goes again. Blue rolls a 19. This time, he is attacking with a spear. A spear, cross-referencing to armor class 3, to fully penetrate, he needs an 11 unless the other guy is prone. He does not score an 11. The question is, should I use 1 hit point or 5 hit points? I'm going to say 1 to 3, it's 1, 4 to 6, it's 5. It's 5. So he does 5 points of damage to this guy. This guy only has 5 points of damage. The Spearman despite being wounded, has won the combat. That's it, over and done.